Hey y'all, so today we doing a flip over quick weave, extremely detailed like always. Get into the look. So yes, like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what y'all think. I love feedback. So yes, let's get started. So we're gonna start with separating our leave out like always. So with this particular install, I like to section off my baby hairs first. Just because, just like with the last quick weave, I don't like to leave out too much or too little. So I like to section off my baby hairs just so that that hair is not included with the leave out at all. We strictly just want to focus on the leave out hair. As far as the baby hairs go, how much you leave out is dependent on you and your personal preference. Depending on if you like them too thin or too little. But either way, you want it to be separate from the leave out hair. So now that I'm starting to section that off, I like to use the comb method, kind of like what I did last time. So for the comb method, you're kind of just sectioning off some hair and you're putting the comb behind the hair to check to see if you can see the comb or not. Normally, if you can see the comb, that is a red flag, and that means that you need a little bit more leave out. If you can see the comb, you'll be able to see your track. Now, as far as the leave out goes, it's okay for this install if you can see the comb just a little bit, only because you don't want your hair to not be able to blend in with the curly hair. So the less hair that you have out, the better. You just want to make sure that it's just enough to cover up the tracks, like literally just enough. So where we're at right now, which is the middle section of our hair, you want to make sure you're really paying attention to this part, because this part shows the most with this particular install. Whether you're wearing it to the back or to the side, this part is the main show, the star of the show. So you want to really make sure that you cannot see your comb during this part when you're going through the hair. And as you can see, like, this process is probably going to take me about 5 whole minutes. Because it's just really important. Once you have the hair sectioned out, it's kind of just over and done with. So you really want to take your time on this process. Now, please keep in mind the consistency of your hair. Like, if you know that once you flat iron your hair, it gets thinner than how it is when it's in this state, then you want to make sure you're taking out a little bit extra, just to make sure the tracks are fully covered once you start to flat iron your hair or curl it to blend it in. So now we're going to go in and section our hair into 2. Now, normally I probably do braid my hair into 2 or 3 braids, but for the big hair, for the flip over, I really do 2 braids, and that's okay, you guys, because as long as the top is flat, you're fine. And this is big hair, so it really doesn't make a difference. So now I'm going to start sectioning off hair in the back. I am going to leave out just a little bit back there, literally like a centimeter of hair. That's why I'm using my fingers to section it off, along with me not being able to see the back of my head. So if you are doing your own hair, I just take my fingers and I just section it off, and I feel the amount of hair. I literally only want enough to cover the track, not enough to necessarily like curl or flat iron, like just enough to go over the track and make sure no tracks are showing for when it's time to put it into a ponytail. So now it's time to start using our gel, our olive oil gel. I really just put it on the roots of the hair, mainly at the top, the parts where I know that I want to be extremely flat. The gel is going to help your install stay flat the entire time you have it, because it's kind of like molding it down. I don't like to put gel on all of my hair. I just don't, it just doesn't seem right having hard gel sitting in my hair for 2 weeks at a time. So having it in just this small area is fine, but my whole entire head just doesn't sit right with me. So I just put it right here, and I use a moisturizer to braid the rest of my hair. I'm either going to use pink oil moisturizer or some type of pudding, which is what I'm using today. This is something new, y'all, so we both trying this together today. Let's see how it work out. I will say it takes longer to dry, but it's real beneficial for your hair. You don't want nothing harsh in your hair while it's molded down. You want it to be soft and being nourished while it's underneath it. So I'm just rubbing it through my hair really, and then I'm going to take a brush to really get it in my hair. You see how it makes the hair look though? Like, it just got my hair looking all healthy and shiny and curlier. So I do like it so far for that reason. But so now you're going to start braiding your hair. into 2 braids on both sides.
Your fragrance, hold up, you ain't never gotta say shit, and I know your taste is a little bit, high maintenance, everybody else basic, you live life on an everyday basis, with poetic justice, if I told you that a flower bloomed in a dark room, would you trust it? I mean, I write poems in these songs, dedicated to you, and you're in the mood for empathy, is blood in my pen, better yet with your friends and them, I really wanna know you all, I really wanna show you off.
Now it is time to lay the cap, y'all. I love these HD caps. Like, I do. I love them for lace and for quick weaves. They just so thin. And whenever you put in a product on top of it, it doesn't take forever and a day to dry because they're so thin. So since we do have our hair left out in the back, applying a cap is kind of more challenging than normal. Some pull it all the way over their leave out and then cut the excess off. But for me personally, I don't like cutting the excess cap off. It's just something about it. So I just like to make sure it's lined up right where my leave out stops at. And then if there's any like hair left over, like that the cap didn't catch, you can just put protectant over it and you'll be fine. The glue will still wash right out the same way. And y'all know we're going to use our 30-second Moroccan quick weave mold. I apply this to my entire head. You could use a brush or you could use the tip of the top that comes with the bottle. You want to go ahead and blow dry. Don't do that though. So now it's time to press the leave out. Now, I didn't mention I applied heat protectant before I blow my hair out in the beginning. I just didn't film me blowing my hair out. So please make sure you apply heat protectant, especially before you apply this super hot comb on your real hair. We do not want our curl patterns to be burned off or our hair to be burned off in general, period. So yeah, you just want to go ahead and press it out. I like to do this beforehand. I don't know, it knocks down a step and it just gives me the look as I'm installing the hair. I don't know. So this is optional. You can do this before, you can do this afterwards. I find it easier to do it before the tracks are on, and then I just go over it afterwards. You want to really make sure that you're getting those roots. This is mainly for your baby hairs in the end. This is how I get my baby hairs to come out looking really soft and just so natural, like they was, like I was born like that. Because I just press out my roots, like make sure they are straight, not a crinkle in sight. So we have our hair molded down. As you can see, the mold looks different when it's dry versus when it's wet. That's how you know that it is fully dry, besides just touching it. But looking at it, you can tell when it's fully dry and when it's still wet. Now doing the back, I feel like is mandatory before you apply the tracks, because how are you going to be able to see this doing your own hair? You know what I mean? So doing this part, I highly recommend. You don't necessarily have to do the front, but doing the back will help you. Now it's time for track placement, guys. So as far as this goes, I know it's really hard trying to install your own Quickweave in general. So what I do is I use my fingers the entire time to navigate where I'm going, make sure I'm not overlapping a track or gluing them too close together. That can be your downfall, because then you'll run out of hair for the top portion. So I'm basically doing the same pattern. I'm just going back and forth while curving them a little bit slightly. Just following my neckline basically. For reference though, I do like to keep at least a finger in between each track, especially for this hair. This is raw deep wave, so it can kind of get a little on the bigger side. It can be a lot to maintain, so I didn't want to add in too much hair, so I made sure that there was a finger length in between each track that I lay. For the glue, you want to apply a generous amount just to make sure it lasts and it doesn't come up with the water. After applying glue onto the track, I like to blow dry it just slightly before applying it to my head. This helps you not to have to press down on the track for so long. You're still going to have to do it, but not for that long. And it's also helping your glue to dry faster and bond into your hair faster, just so we can keep the process going. If you blow dry on the track while it's already in your head, sometimes the track is still loose, so you're trying to hold the track up while it's still falling down. It'd just be a challenge. So I recommend blow drying the track before even sticking it onto your head. You want to make sure you blow drying in between each track, blow drying after you apply the track, just making sure that the glue is dry, honey. Like, that is the main thing with Quickweaves. You do not want to get to the end and get to brushing your hair and tracks are slipping already, you know? So we just gonna keep repeating the same steps, just back and forth, back and forth. These bundles were already pre-installed, hence the reason why they're already cut. So, but you just want to keep going with the same pattern, gluing them with a finger in between. I like to have a finger in between each track, just to have a gap, especially with the deep wave. I don't like to stuff in too much hair. So yeah, you just want to go back and forth from side to side, gluing in the tracks. So even once we get up here to our ears, you still want to curve it just a little bit, slightly, not a super curve. Like you don't want the hair going straight forward. You kind of want it to a slant almost, if that makes sense. Not straight across either. So if you can see how I'm laying it in this segment. Once I turn to the other side, you'll see how that side looks, how I place the track. And that's kind of the pattern that we're about to start going now. So we're going to still lay it side to side, but once it reaches the top part, you're just going to curve it a little bit to go into the same pattern as the other tracks. You really want to make sure that you're clipping away your hair at this time. Even though we did go ahead and press it out, you just don't want any glue or anything to get into your leave out. So just having a clip instead of braiding it down to pull it away is good. I do like to glue it as close to my leave out as possible, just so when it's time to flip it, you know, everything is seamless, 100% seamless. Now I am about to show y'all what I was talking about with the finger length in between each track. So that is exactly what I mean, a visual. Y'all weren't gonna tell me this clip was hanging off my head. I had to show y'all because, like, how did I not feel this? Like, it's hanging on by a thread, literally. So if you can see me applying this track here, the track wasn't long enough to reach the front. So instead of me curving it, I'm simply just going side to side. I'm not curving it or anything like that. I'm just applying it kind of like how we started at the neckline. So I told y'all that I like to have the tracks as close to the leave out as possible to make it more seamless. And I felt like there was a gap here. Plus, like, the length just looked kind of weird. So I went in and I added a track underneath what I already laid. So if you see, I don't necessarily have any cap to lay it on. I'm kind of just laying it on my scalp. And I did put skin protectant there. So as long as you have, not skin protectant, I'm sorry, the mold, the Quickweave mold. As long as you have the mold there to protect your hair and your skin, you're fine to put glue there. Look at the clip still hanging, y'all. It's still hanging. And I still finally done took it off, finally. In the next segment, I'm going to show y'all a visual indicator of where to stop curving the tracks. But as of right now, you still want to curve them. You still do, just so it can fall in your face a certain way. This is where we're going to stop curving the tracks at, right here. This is where we're going to stop, and we're going to start laying the tracks straight. Simple to how we did it in the beginning, where we were following our neckline, just going from side to side, side to side, no curving the tracks, no anything. The reason why we're laying them side to side and the reason why it creates that flip over is because it's going to the back. So the fact that it's also being placed side to side and going towards the back, you're able to flip it from side to side. It can go from the left to the right. Now having it like this, with the tracks curving, you can flip it, but not necessarily. It'll cause a hump to lay in the front, and you don't want any type of humps. When it's laid to the back and it's going from side to side, it's very seamless, so that as if you can, you know, slick your hair to the back almost. So that's why it gives that versatile type of look. I do have another technique that I might drop with this one. It's only one slight difference, and it's with this particular section with creating the flip over. So it's just another technique where I cut smaller pieces instead of applying it this way. I'll probably drop that after this one. So you see how I just laid that particular track, how it's going from side to side. Now once I get to the top, I am going to curve it just a little bit, but it's not necessarily going towards the front of my hair. It's just laying towards the side, as if I were to have a middle part instead of it falling towards the front of my hair, if that makes sense. So I am going to go in and add in a few more tracks just to close it up at the top. But for the remaining, I'm not going to be curving them at all. I'm just going to be laying them side by side, so my hair will not fall in my face that much. The remaining, you really just want to fall to the side or to the back. This is what I mean by using my fingers this entire time, y'all. Like, I'm literally feeling around. You can just see me feeling around, just trying to feel like, okay, is that a track? Is that my cap? So that's what you should be doing as well. And just keep repeating the process side by side, similar to how I'm laying it here. As you can see the gap, I simply just use my fingers and then blow dry, and then just keep repeating the same step until this part is filled up. And yes, just please keep repeating it and going side by side straight across, no curving any tracks. Don't forget to blow dry in between every single track. Not every single track, but every other track. Now when it's time to close it up and you start to line up with the tracks that are on the side that are being curved, you do want to start to curve the tracks just a little bit, just so we can give that illusion and there won't be any tracks showing when it is time to flip it. But you don't want to curve it a lot, just very, very slight. So now I'm getting ready to close it up. I am going to add this track here, but I'm going to go in and add in another track behind it. I was just afraid that I was going to run out of hair. But yes, time to close it up, y'all. I like to go in once I'm done and just fully blow dry the whole perimeter all throughout my hair for at least 5 minutes. Okay, you don't want to do it just like something quick. You want it to really be dry, especially because this is something that we're about to apply water to. So if you're done, this should be the final look. No tracks should be showing. As you see, I have just enough. And now we're about to start blending the leave out. As you can see, the ponytail is just enough hair. Not nothing more, nothing less. The tracks are covered. And you can't even see an indication of where my hair stops and where it ends. So I like to put some edge tamer on my hair, on my leave out first. I would show y'all the name, that's why I'm looking like that, because it's all faded and shit, but it's called She Bomb Edge Tamer. So now it's time for the baby hairs, my #1 favorite part. So since we did press them out, just go in and brush out the baby hairs. Just, style them the way that you want them, or place them, brush them the way that you want them before it's time to lay them down. I like to do this just to get like a look and a visual and make sure that no hair is left behind, because once we start spraying and laying, baby, it's kind of a done deal. So we are using even edge spray. I like to spray it on there first. Do like a few light sprays. This dries extremely fast, so I only like to let it sit for literally 2-3 seconds, like literally that exact time, and then go in and start to mold it while it's drying. You're gonna start to feel it drying as you're molding it, so it's kind of best to move fast. And that's also why I lay it out like that in the beginning, so that once I spray it, it's kind of where I need it to be. You know what I mean? So then once I start to lay them, I kind of curve them out, brush them out, and then swoop the end right back in. It's kind of like making a C on your head, or a parenthesis. You're just swinging it out slightly and then curving it right back in. So you're literally making the same motion as a parenthesis or a C. It's just with a brush, if that makes sense. Now for this, another tip, for you to have like the soft baby hairs that you want your brush to be soft too. You do not want to use a hard brush at all. So if your brush is hard, go soak it in some soap and water so that you can start fresh. So to create this look, I really just kind of guided my hair where I wanted it to go. And none of this is slowed down or skipped, so you're following every single little motion that I do. Um, yeah, I just brushed them out. I let them fall where they wanted to fall at, and I also hot combed them going this way. So yeah.
I used to tell lies, but I would never lie to you. Been spray on my gun, looking all kinds of new. So you know what I like, what would you like to do? Tell me, I'm telling you. I know I've been away. I'm just trying to get my people straight, girl. Don't give my shit away. I'm just trying to get my people straight. I know I've been away. Just trying to get my people straight. Don't give my shit away. I'm just trying to get my people straight.
Okay, so you're just gonna repeat the same steps that we did on the opposite side, spraying the spray, giving it like a second or two, and then just start molding the hair. You see how I'm brushing it out, going straight down first, and then swerving it right back in. And still trying to multitask. You can do like each side on your own. For me, it's different, so I kind of multitask. But so you just gonna brush it out, kind of similar to how I'm doing. Make sure it's going all the way out. And then once you start brushing it in, you're just going to start swooping it in. So curve it out like how I'm doing. In a C motion, like a parenthesis. If you have to spray more, you can. It does dry fast, and I try to use a small amount at a time. You don't want to spray a lot. You do not want them to be soaking wet. If you get them soaking wet, it will curl your hair back up, and then you have to restart. This spray is really a game changer for real. Like, look how quick I just did my baby hairs. This no cutting up, no fast forwarding, no nothing. Y'all see how good that look? Like it's giving like a frontal or something. This is why it's good to press out your baby hairs first. Really hit it with that hot comb. If you're trying to start your baby hairs off just straight, like with them being natural, they won't come out as smooth and soft like this.
You're treating me so bad. You said you love me, don't wanna find me, and I was all you had. And all my heart is beating for you, I can't stop crying. I don't know how I allow you to treat me this way, and still I stay. See my days are cold without you. Without you. My heart can't take no more. I keep on running back to you. See my days are cold without you. Without you.
So now I'm gonna go back over it with the hot comb. I just want to flatten it a little bit. Having the middle part flat is really important to me because that's how you make it look more natural. When you see people with their natural curly hair, it don't start off just big, like, you know what I mean? If you get what I mean. So now I am going to hit it with the flat iron. I just feel like it just make it look more silkier and just more sleek from the root, like that way. Please make sure you're using your heat protectant before applying any heat to your hair. I use the Chi brand. This is the Chi oil, so I am gonna put that about like a quarter size amount in my hair. I'm gonna use 2 quarter sizes, but you really want to make sure you're putting heat protectant on your natural hair before you putting heat on there. Reason why I like to put a lot of oil in my curly hair, because once you wet it and it dry, it could get so big, and when it get big, it can look dry and big. So you want it to look moisturized and cute and sleek once it get dry too. So now we about to start styling it. I do like to section it off into 2 parts just so that the water can really penetrate the hair and we really getting a good brush out. I always start brushing from the bottom first and then work my way up to the top. That's how you really get a good detangle. Also with your natural hair, that's a good thing to do too.
Niggas, like CeeLo. These niggas do anything for some C-notes. At what cost? Hit Mercedes, buy some free cars. I know, this nigga's worse off. Maybe my sense of reality is turned off. Who the fuck knows? I just make sure.
Y'all, I done got the water was dripping and it got on my shirt, y'all. Like, why? So make sure if you dyed your hair jet black and you're wetting it and you're about to go somewhere, you have on a cute outfit, make sure you put something on beforehand and make sure you buy a diffuser so that you're kind of drying your ends a little bit so it's not dripping but it still have that wet look. Cause child, I was so mad about my shirt, but I just went and put a cape on so I don't further mess it up. So just take that as a sign for y'all, okay? So you see, like, as I'm wetting it, I'm kind of just like balling it up a little bit. I do that to bring the curl back out. When you scrunch it up like that, you're scrunching the hair up. So instead of stretching it out, because after brushing it out, you're brushing the curl out. So scrunching it back up just kind of gives that curl pattern. Now it's time to hit it with the diffuser. I like to do this because when it's time to blend in our leave out, you don't want your leave out to be looking dry and the rest of your hair to look wet. Even though the rest of the hair is going to eventually dry, it's going to air dry, but you just don't want that look. So I like to go in with the diffuser, and the diffuser also helps bring the curl pattern back a little bit more too, like it makes it curlier. And it's kind of the same that I was doing when I was just doing it with my hand, like bunching it up. It's literally the same thing. It's just with the tool and it's with heat.
I might just come see you today. You ain't I'm stuck up in my ways. We love it when I'm playing games. That's the only way we get away. We stuck together. You must forever. That's why I cannot go away. I leave you screaming anything.
Now it's time to blend our leave out with the rest of the hair. I put this curling iron in the description for y'all because this is a game changer for real, and it really matches most of the deep wave patterns, and even if it don't, it still blend right in. So I love this curling iron. So you're just gonna take it piece by piece, and we're just gonna curl going to the back. If your hair is longer than 3 inches, because that's probably how long my leave out is, 3 to 4 inches, I suggest grabbing a piece of the track hair and curling it with your natural hair. That just helps it give it a more natural look. Since my hair is a little shorter, it's easier for me to blend in my hair without my leave out looking crazy with the curls just sitting there. So if your hair is longer, please curl it along with the track hair too. So many tears after all these years. See my days are cold without you. And my heart can't take no more. I can keep on wanting. See my days are cold without you. Without you. Without you. I can keep on running. I trusted you. I trusted you. So sad. What love will make you do. This is how your curls should look. You see how good like that blends in? Like it literally just blends right in. Like you can't even tell where it stopped and where it started. That's how it should look. Okay, so this is the finished look, y'all. Please comment, give me some feedback, let me know what y'all think, and if y'all like this method. I am gonna upload another method, but yes, let me know what y'all think. But stay tuned because I have one more step at the end to show y'all. Just one more. So I do like to go in and add mousse sometimes at the top of the hair. The mousse just helps it to stay looking flat at the top because I really don't like a big bushy look with my curly hair. I like for it to look as natural as possible, and I feel like if it looks flat at the top, that gives it that look. So I'm using the Roby mousse, and I just kind of take a pump full, and just lay it on top of my hair. Thank you for watching. I'll see y'all next time. Really in a few days because I'll be dropping another video. Thank you.
do